All right. Hey, y'all, we back again. What's going on, Alex?
Everything's good, man. How about you? You doing all right?
Excellent, excellent. Um, hey, man, go ahead and get right into it. What we talking about today?
All right, today we're talking about the film Grizzly. It was made in May 16th, 1976. Um, Basically, it's during that time period they had a lot a lot of stuff going on as far as like animals, bugs, rats, anything like that was nature was coming back at
Nate.
man. So
Yeah.
it kind of like was a thing back in the day, that small little block of time. So, and this film here was criticized a lot for being a clone of Jaws. You figure Jaws was made in '74. So this pretty much the whole storyline kind of mimics Jaws. You know, you've got three main characters, chasing some type of or trying to investigate or figure out some type of hulking beast that's lessening the population. So, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. It was directed by David Sheldon and a gentleman named William. Going to pronounce his name right, Girdler. Girdler, I think that's his last name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Girdler was he actually helped with the making of Sheba Baby. Of course, that's Pam Grier. And also
Mm-hmm.
he did another film similar to this one called Day of the Animals, which is pretty much the same thing. You know, you kind of got nature striking back at man because we're overstepping our boundaries and building where we shouldn't be, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as far as plot wise, man, pretty much cut and dry. You've got, and I didn't get the name of the uh, the area where they were filming or the name of the park, but it's a huge national park. I'm gonna
Right.
refer to it kind of like Yellowstone. It's really
Right.
big area. I remember in the beginning, the Vietnam pilot. Let me see his name. What was this guy's name? Don Stubert, who was played by Andrew Prince.
Yeah.
He's talking to some politicians while he's flying them around and explaining to the fact that a lot of the grounds in the forests have been untouched since the Native American days. You know, when the Native
Yeah.
Americans kind of had possession of that area, and he's one of those guys that wanted to keep it that way. Um, but it's a pretty big sized national park. Got a lot of camping and backpacking going on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got the main character whose name is he's Chief Ranger Chief Ranger Kelly, who's played by Christopher George. Christopher George is pretty much, I think he had a good run back in the '70s, man. He's done a lot of TV. A lot of these guys, I'm going to
Yeah. Well, he
touch on
died
that.
early. Yeah,
Yeah,
Christopher George died early, so yeah, he didn't get the full career like he should have.
right, right. But these the three main characters. You got Christopher George, you got Andrew Prince, and you got Richard. I want to call him Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jackal, something like that.
Jackal. Yeah. All three of these guys done a lot of TV shows during like the
Yeah.
'70s. Let me see. Actually, Christopher George, I want to bring this up to you. He actually he actually did Enter the Ninja. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
No, yeah, I remember that too.
Tokusuki stuff from back in the
Yeah.
day. All
Yeah.
the ninja craze went on. Everybody had to get a
Mm-hmm.
ninja suit, but he did that. And Andrew Prince did some Star Trek stuff. You saw him on Deep Space Nine, the other stuff, and he also did V. I think you brought that up to me too. He did
Yeah.
episode of V, a couple episodes of V. And Richard Jackal, he did this film, not to get away from the plot, but he did this film that was early on. I remember, man. It was called Mako, The Jaws of Death, man. And I got to go back and watch it again. And he's this guy that found this necklace that had a shark tooth on it, and
Yeah.
he wore the necklace. As long as he wore the necklace, he had control of this one. I don't know if it was a mako or a tiger shark. Man. And he was
Right.
picking people up, and pretty much he was doing things with the shark. You know, pretty much anybody that would get their head overpowered would be doing stupid stuff. You know, take out people that he didn't like or whatever.
Right.
um, But that film was pretty decent, man. I have to revisit that. But that's the one. That's the
I,
film that I remember him from.
I want to say
Pretty
I
good.
remember seeing that because you brought it up. You brought up that necklace, so now I'm looking it up because
Yeah,
that was the same
the
year.
ending was dumb as hell, man. Like I think he was trying to get away from some guys, and he jumped into. He had this little small compartment in his house that kind of like led down to like a underground like river or something like that where the shark
Yeah,
was. And when he jumped down in the pit, the damn necklace broke, and he got ate up by the by the damn shark. And I'm just like,
yeah,
wow, it ended just like this. Like, what the hell is this? You know, but I got to
yeah,
go back and look at it. But it was
yeah. Me
decent
too.
story, man. It was unique for the time, for that one,
Yeah,
unique for the
yeah,
time. But anyway, back on plot, man. We've got this large area of national forest, and all of the bears had been regulated and pushed further up, I guess, up north
mm,
by Richard Jackal's character, who's his name is Scott. He's kind of like this the naturalist. He's
yeah,
out and about in the forest, living with the deers and the elks and all that stuff, trying to trying to
yeah,
learn as
yeah,
much as he can. You know, the kind of like similar to Hooper. You know, being like the scientific guy about
yeah,
stuff. And anyway, this large grizzly bear comes down from whatever part of the forest and starts to mangle and kill a lot of the backpackers and the campers and stuff.
mm,
Apparently, this is some type of grizzly that wasn't like your standard grizzly. It was supposed to be
yeah,
some part of some breed of of an ancient type of
yeah.
grizzly. But anyway,
Some
the thing was
prehistoric grizzly. Yeah,
yeah, the thing was 11 feet tall and
yeah,
about 2,000 some pounds. So you got a
yeah,
massive beast walking around just hacking through campers and hacking through park rangers and stuff. Um, so Kelly, uh, Park Ranger Kelly, he's trying to maintain everything similar to what Brody was doing. They had a guy that was in charge of the park that was kind of mimicking the same stuff that the mayor of Amityville was doing. He's trying to
yeah,
keep the park open, keep the campsites open, and try to do all of this stuff hush hush. And of course, the Grizzlies going through and picking off people as he chooses.
yeah,
So that's pretty much the plot, man. They go through
yeah,
a series of stages trying to try to trap the beast, trying to track the beast, and of course it's eating up people as it goes on, and then toward
mm,
the end, they finally get a chance to kill it. I
yeah,
feel bad for Kelly's character because he pretty much lost a lot of friends along the way.
yeah,
Uh, but it was interesting, man. I mean, it's pretty linear. It's not too complicated.
hmm,
Um, few of the stuff I didn't really like too much, man, because again they tried to make something into they try to do too much for the story. I mean, you try to build this
yeah,
character developments and interactions with different characters, and I just thought that was just, you don't add to the cannon fodder.
yeah, yeah,
It's just
yeah,
they're there, like you said one time, they're there to be eaten.
yeah,
Period.
yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, this movie was
Um.
filmed in Clayton, Georgia,
Okay.
and I was trying to because I want to say that they keep it pretty vague about where this national park actually is in the movie. I don't
Right. Right.
remember
I
if it
told you I
actually
couldn't.
said yeah. Um, and I was surprised when I looked up, the filming location. It was in Georgia, but I think it's
Wow.
supposed to take place like in a national park like out west.
Right.
Um, so you can't really tell honestly unless you're a mountain man or something. You know the difference between mountains and whatever. Um,
Right.
but yeah, watching it, I would swear it was filmed in like Yellowstone or somewhere out
Yeah.
west. It was filmed in Georgia.
Right. Some big park. So yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't. I went back and tried to look again, and I just couldn't find the name of the reference that they were using for the park. But I assumed it
yeah.
was as big as Yellowstone. So um, as far as I mean, what did you like about the plot? And what's your favorite character?
Well, man, the plot. Let me just say this: it is definitely a shot for shot, almost beat for beat remake of Jaws. You know,
Hmm.
um, uh, it's it's definitely not bad. It's not
Yeah.
bad because like for what it is, it's a 1970s animal horror movie.
Yeah.
Um, it is exactly what it needs to be.
Right.
You know, now is it the most creative? No, because the same movie came out a year before, 2 years before. and it was a monster hit. So
Right.
you're gonna have these imitators coming out. I do like how they, they kind of mix it up. It wasn't in the water, obviously, so they did it on land. So what's
On
on
land,
land?
right?
A bear. Why is a bear easier? Because they have this trained bear. I forget the bear's name. He was in a bunch of stuff,
Yeah,
but
Teddy. Teddy was a
yeah,
Kodak trained Kodak bear.
yeah.
Kodak bear.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's one of those things. It's like, oh, this is just too easy. It's too
Yeah.
easy. Let's get the financing, and we can definitely make a profit off of this movie, off this idea. Um, it's an entertaining watch, just
Yeah.
because they don't overuse the bear.
Right.
Like obviously he's a trained bear, and it's going to be dangerous to have a bear on set and this and that. So they do a lot of the like first person view of the bear, and you know talking about the bear. So like your
Hmm.
imagination of the bear is worse than what the bear actually looks like. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and they're kind of inconsistent with like the size of the bear in the
Yeah.
movie. Like somebody's
11
like,
foot
oh, it's
and then
11
18. I
foot,
heard 18 foot.
13, and then 15. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, how
yeah, yeah.
big is
Which
this
one
joke,
is
man?
it?
Yeah, T Rex, man. What is this? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So the thing is, though, like it's somewhere between 11 and 18 feet and 2 to 3,000 pounds. It's big. But yeah, with all that aside, it actually is pretty enjoyable. I hadn't seen it in a really long time.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
remember the
Been a
movie,
long
but I haven't
time.
seen it in a long time. And there's another one I want to say you brought up about a grizzly that I've also seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Night. It's called
that is
Night of the
actually
Grizzly.
right. Is that the one where the grizzly like slings somebody like in a sleeping bag or something?
Yeah, I
I
think
got
it
to go
was
back
something
and see
like
it.
that. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Um, but anyway, yeah, Jaws with claws, as this movie was called back in the day. Um, it's it's exactly what it needs to be. Yes, it's a
Right.
ripoff of Jaws, but it's a ripoff of a great movie, and they do a pretty decent job with the budget they had.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, it's an enjoyable watch. It's one of those movies I can put on in the background, and it won't get on my nerves. And it's got some
Yeah.
decent kills in it, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get to that.
Right. The budget. It's crazy. The budget that they had was $750,000. Man, that's what
Yeah,
they started with, and they grossed like 39 million. Man. So
yeah,
that's
worldwide, it's just
huge.
crazy. Yeah,
That
and
is
it was
huge.
it was the biggest independent. It was the biggest independent film until Halloween 2 years after this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
when I
didn't
was
know
looking
that.
up, yeah, they said it was the biggest. Yeah, it was the biggest, but biggest box office for an independent film until Halloween.
Wow, that's cool. That is cool as hell. No idea.
Yep.
All right. What's your best kill, man? Let's get into the kills.
Hey, so let me just say, right, if 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 the kid had died, that might have been the best one, but
Yeah.
the kid lived, so I ain't gonna count him.
Yeah.
Just because they had the balls to like just smack this kid, man, and rip his leg off or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but my favorite kill, man, is, and this kind of goes into the inconsistency of the bear, but when he kills the horse,
Oh my God.
and like
Yes.
he the bear, this bear is so powerful that he smacked the horse's head off. Not a
Yes.
person. He smacked the horse's head off. I mean, he did a whole Godfather 2 on that horse, man. Just smacked the head off clean,
Exactly.
like he had a sword, like he had
Hmm.
a katana or something. Um, I just thought like, oh shit, because this is
Yeah.
like towards the end of the movie. I'm like, damn, how strong is this bear?
It
He
was
just smacked a
unexpected.
horse's head off, right? And it was completely unexpected because I thought he was going to swipe at what
And
was it called,
Scott.
Scotty?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he was going to swipe at Scotty, and like no, the bear swipes and the horse's head flies. I'm like, oh shit, like, that was pretty damn good. But then like a few seconds later, he smacks Scott, and he just gets a few scratches and lives. I'm like, you
Yeah.
just smacked the
Yeah.
horse's head off. How inconsistently strong is this bear? This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. That didn't make any sense to me. Yeah. I feel the same about that scene. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my favorite one.
Yeah, for me, the first two kills, the two females in the beginning,
Mm,
I think were the most savage kills. I think
mm-hmm.
because like the first female, I mean, he basically clawed her, like gave her two pieces with a biscuit. You know,
Yep.
she ended up in the tree somewhere, and then the other
Yep.
girl, tried to run away, and he actually broke down. They had a little small cabin, a few paces away from where their campsite was, and she tried to take refuge there, and he came
Yeah.
through the walls and just knocked her, clean across the screen. So,
Yeah.
but I just think that it kind of like those two kills kind of were kind of like the Christie kill in Jaws, kind of like to get your attention, like, hey, this is
Yeah.
what we're dealing with here. Very
Yeah.
savage, very abrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I say that those two kills were my favorite, man. I would say, but also, of course, we just talked about Scotty. I felt bad for him because I think they could have did a little bit more with his character. Man, the way he went out was kind of
Mm-hmm.
dumb because he was
Mm-hmm.
hard headed. He knew enough information about the creature that they were up against to know how to plan a little bit better, but he still was
Mm-hmm.
trying to be, more than he was, and it ended up being his downfall. And for him to
Yeah.
come
And I,
to
I thought,
after getting smacked out,
see,
man, he wake up
see,
and
I was just about to say that, man. Like, bro, first of all, that scene didn't make any sense in the
yeah,
context of the movie because this bear's killed everybody else, and I know the bear's buried or kills or whatever.
yeah,
So I'm thinking like Scotty was dead. They show his hand move. I'm like, okay, he's alive.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
he sits up and immediately gets killed by the bear. So what was the
Right.
point of that whole scene?
I guess
There's
just
no
to
point.
give you some hope, like maybe he's not dead. Maybe he'll make it.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
No, that was just that was
That
bad
was
writing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was bad.
And and they go through the trouble of explaining the tranquilizer bullets or whatever that he had and
Yeah.
never use them.
Never got a
I'm
shot
thinking
on.
like, okay, yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, this is going to come back. Set up some payoffs. You set
Mm-hmm.
this up and never pay it off. Like no one ever
No.
uses that tranquilizer, at all. So
Nope. It died with him.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was like you said, I think that was all bad writing.
yeah.
What's the dumbest thing you can think of in the whole film, man? The dumbest thing that happened
Mm.
or the dumbest scene you think of?
Oh, well, I just said it. That was the dumbest scene to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the dumbest scene to me. Like even my poor wife has to sit and watch some of these movies with me, voluntarily, involuntarily. I don't know, but
Right.
she just happened to be in the room. I was watching that scene, and actually about the second half of the movie we watched together, and she said the same thing. She was like, "Well, what the hell?" She's like, "He why did he get up and get killed? That doesn't make any sense."
Mm,
I said, "Yeah, narratively, it just doesn't make any sense. Like
yeah.
either kill him the first time, or let him get up and find a way to help to kill the bear without what's the point of him getting up
To
immediately
get
getting
killed.
killed?
Right.
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 It doesn't
It,
make any sense at all.
it was like a reverse plan to get the audience in an emotion, I guess. I don't know, because you kind of like
Right.
it's like he's gonna make it, he's smart. No, bro,
Nope.
no,
Nope. Nope.
not this time.
Yeah. Like
So
even if he had got back up and managed to like hit him with one of the tranquilizers to kind of woozy the bear a little bit. So whatever, like give
yeah,
him
he
give him a
still would
better
have been
way
out.
out than that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's still would have been gone. Yeah, just yeah, that was bad. uh, what do you think about the film overall? As far as like, if you do remember it from childhood, like what part of it kind of sat with you to make you kind of like remember it?
Well, so yeah, I remember like this movie came out 2 years before I was born.
Mm,
Came out in '76. So it's one of those movies that I saw like it could be one of those movies that showed up in the afternoon on like HBO or whatever channel.
right, right.
Um, and I'm like, oh, okay, horror movie with a bear. And I love like animals and stuff, especially growing up, man. Any kind of
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
with animals killing people, I love that shit. Um, the thing is though, I get this movie and that Night of the Grizzly movie mixed up,
Yeah,
um,
me too.
and with some of the other like animal attack movies or whatever. So like my memory of this movie is kind of vague, but I do remember watching it, when I was younger.
Right.
Um, so yeah, like overall, it's one of those like handful of movies, hundreds of movies that I could just kind of watch. Like, what's the one, like, Kingdom of the Spiders, and
Oh yeah,
all those
yeah.
other like all
William
those other like
Shatner.
cheesy stuff. Yeah,
William
run
Shatner.
do that
Kirk,
shit.
Kirk was fighting spiders.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of blends in. It blends in with all those other movies.
Yeah.
Just like brings back those kind of like just good memories of my childhood, and the stupid movies my mom would watch and make me watch, and then I love those same movies. So it's just one of those movies, man. I can just I can throw it on and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here, man. I spent quite a few nights when this came on. If this came on, I was hiding behind the couch because my dad had this thing where, if you either sit down in the living room watching it or you get out, one or the other. So I tried to find
Right.
an in between. Well, I'm in here. I'm just gonna be behind the couch. Again, it's just a childhood thing. I tell you, my first introduction with horror period was Jaws. I mean, Jaws. We went, during the '70s, it was shown over. I mean, it came out in '74, but it was shown over and over again. Came back to the movies to get the cash from folks, and we went to see it. I think I might have been like maybe 6, and I mean that movie literally terrorized me, man. I mean, I jumped
Yeah.
out the seat and was heading for the parking lot, man. My dad had to chase me down. So anything that kind of like, like had to deal with, like you said, nature. Nature doesn't. You can't reason with nature, man. It's not like you can sit there and try to talk your way out of it. Shark,
Yeah.
alligator, barracuda, whatever, piranhas. They don't talk. They're not trying to hear anything you got to say. So it kind of like has this primal fear in all of us where you can't reason with nature. Nature is here and you are here. And that's always, so that's why it kind of sticks with me. We got to do alligator too, man. We got to do alligator.
Hey, bro, let me tell you what's crazy, Alex. I just watched Alligator last week. No, 2 weeks
Oh
ago.
no!
Yeah, it's because let me tell you. I told you I love movies. I don't know why I didn't think of that a second ago, but I love movies with animals, right? Alligator.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, Alligator was literally my favorite movie, man. Up until like The Last Dragon came out.
Right.
I freaking loved Alligator. Anytime that shit came on TV, man, I was watching it, and I was young.
Yeah.
And my mom knew I loved that movie. Like I had the little toy alligators, man, that everybody had back then, little plastic one with the mouth.
The ones that you get from the 5 and 10 cent store. Yep.
Right, or from the carnival or whatever. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we got to do alligator, man.
Yeah.
But,
And plus
what's
Robert,
my
I
man's
think
name?
the main guy's name was the main hero was Robert Foster. He was cool as shit back then, man.
Yeah, because he was in
Cool as
Jackie
hell.
Brown, and he had those hair plugs in back then, man. And like, there's a few scenes in the movie where somebody's like, "Hey, you get hair plugs?" But like in real life, he had got hair plugs, so they like wrote that shit into the script. So yeah, we
Right.
got to do that movie.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, another Jaws ripoff, basically.
Yeah. Pretty much. And that came out I think it was like 80, 81.
80 or 81, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I got
Yeah.
November 14th, 1980. Yeah, that's when it came.
Love that movie. That Q the winged serpent, all that shit, man.
Oh yeah. We got to do that one
Yeah.
too, man. Actually, I wrote that down on the do list. It was 1982 when Q came out. So
yeah, because I think Alligator's on what I watch it on. Might have been Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
right,
I'm sorry, man. We got all off subject.
Yeah, we good. Last question I got. As far as like the content, do you think that they could possibly go back and do a sequel? And make it like modern day?
I think you always could. I think they actually did, but it was like some generic trash. But
Right.
You
I can't
could
remember
always go
what year
like,
they did it.
yeah, it was like several years later, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you could always go like we were just talking about Alligator. You go the Alligator route and make the sequel about like some mutation.
Oh yeah.
Super Grizzly, Space Grizzly, whatever. You could get as ridiculous. You can get as ridiculous as you like, and this is one of those movies that lends itself to the more sequels you have, the more ridiculous they are, but kind of maybe the more fun they are.
Right.
You can't make. It'll be hard to make a straight up sequel that's like basically the same. It will have to be the same movie, so you'd have to make something different. You take the difference in Gremlins and Gremlins 2, or the difference in Critters and Critters 2.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, Critters is more horror. Critters 2 is kind of more comedy. You had to
right.
kind of change it up. Couldn't make the same movie again. Um, yeah, this movie you could make some kind of a sequel to it. It would have obviously would have had to happen back then. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
you just have to make a different movie out of family of Grizzlies now. Grizzly Revenge, whatever. Uh,
yeah.
but
I think they got enough.
it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good most likely.
No,
But it would be like it might be entertaining.
straight to DVD. Yeah,
yeah,
straight to DVD. Yeah, I think they got enough material where they could do something. I mean, if you get some decent writers to sit down at the table and really dig into this, you got enough material where you could make something decent. Especially nowadays,
yeah,
again, everybody's trying to talk about green and different stuff. So you get a couple good writers. I think that they could really come up with
yeah.
something halfway decent. Man. But like you said, it ain't gonna
Yeah.
be a hit. You ain't gonna break the box office with it for sure.
No,
But it would be something that
no.
would be entertaining. I think sci-fi doesn't get enough credit, even though a lot of their stuff is kind of dumb. Especially the
Oh yes,
original.
yeah,
But it's people are trying to like break ground. Trying to do something different. And sometimes it does all
yeah,
right, and sometimes it's trash. But again, I
yeah,
wish that people would be more encouraged to do that type of thing, man, because that's where you find your
yeah,
gems at. That's where you find the things that you can really take the ball and
yeah,
run with if you're looking, not just doing
yeah,
remakes,
yeah. Those
So,
asylum movies are, they have a reputation for being ridiculous because a lot of them are.
mm,
That being said, the some of the ideas behind those movies are actually really good ideas for movies. The ones that aren't
right.
just blatant ripoffs, some of them are like decent ideas for a movie. Just the execution is usually kind of terrible.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like that would be something like a sequel to this. That's what it would be, like an asylum movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I, speaking of movies that don't get enough attention, if I can find it, and it's been bothering my brain, man, for several years. There's this movie I watched. It came on cable one day, and it's about like aliens invaded, but the whole movie takes place inside a grocery store,
Mm,
and the problem is like the people don't know who like the alien is, and it's kind of a low budget movie, but
hmm.
it's acted really well, like really well. It's directed really well. I cannot remember the name of it. If I remember it, I'm gonna find it, and we're going to talk about that movie because it
Okay.
was excellent. I watched it twice. And the movie was excellent, and I cannot remember the name of it. Saved my life.
Do you remember
But
what year it
and it was
came
one of
out
those
in?
movies that it never came out of theater. It was in the 2000s. I can't remember exactly.
Thousands. Oh man, I might have to look at my. I'll help you look
Yeah,
that up, man, because it sounds familiar, but until I see,
yeah,
until I can see a face and kind of like put it with the movie, I'm gonna
right,
be lost. I gotta look for it. Yeah, that
yeah.
sounds cool. Yeah,
And it was
yeah, I
like a
definitely
brother.
like
A
to see
brother was the main character. Yeah,
that. Mhm. Okay.
yep.
All
So
right.
yeah, I'll find it. Look, I'm getting off subject again. yeah,
All right. That's it. You got any
yeah.
final points you want to add, man?
No, man. I mean, well, other than like, it's one of those movies that like I'm glad you brought it up because I hadn't seen it forever, and I forgot how like cheesy it was, but it's still pretty
Yeah.
good. Um, a lot of the actors, a lot of the actors in it didn't do a lot. Like
Right.
a lot of these actors, other than like those TV roles and stuff, like they didn't
The
have like
three that.
really big. Yeah, they didn't have big careers. The
Right.
like Joan McCall, the main female,
Mm-hmm.
which she's really in the movie that much, but like she hardly has anything to her credit. Um, so yeah, like it's basically just a decent Jaws ripoff that you can sit back and watch and not think about too much. Like it's not
Right. And
it's
I
not so
think they
good
added.
that you got to pay attention.
Right. They added her role just I guess just to have because wasn't she like the daughter of the owner of that lodge that was there?
The owner of the park,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
It's crazy. Like after he told her to kick rocks and it's too dangerous, you didn't see her anymore after that. I was just like, what's the even
Yeah,
point of even having them interact if she's only in there for like a few scenes and then
yeah,
that's it, she's gone. You know,
yep,
it didn't make any sense to me.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
but
All
yeah,
right.
man, that's all I got.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I just I love these types of films, man. We need to get into more. We got tons of them, like you said. I got alligator, we got piranhas. I mean, you
Yeah.
pick the direction where you want to go, and I'm with you. Because during this time period, this was the thing. It was animals, uh, anything like like spiders, rats. What's the name of that one film I watched not too long ago? Deadly Eyes. Another rat
I
movie.
remember
Rats
that.
were
Yeah.
rats were freaking going crazy back in the '70s.
Yeah. And Gnaw was one, like Gnaw,
Yeah,
Food of the
no,
Gods or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Food of the Gods. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can go. Yeah, that
Yeah.
movie was so bad, man. They had these they had these little small like chihuahuas with like rat costumes on top of them, man, like the back of Chihuahua. Like, come on, man. It was crazy, man. It was funny as hell to go back and look at some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can
Yeah.
do all that, man. That's fine.
Yeah. Bet. Yeah, that's all we got, man, with Grizzly.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, decent movie. So, um, hey y'all, thanks for watching again. If only one person sees this or 10 million, doesn't matter. Hopefully you learn about a movie you hadn't seen, and you want to go check it out and get some appreciation for some of these old movies. And we
Right.
got plenty more to come. Alex, you got anything?
Yeah, if you like films like this, rate, comment, subscribe, give us some ideas, or give us your views on, even your favorite film from this time period. If it's an animal based, just let us know what you think,
Hmm.
and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, y'all take it easy. Peace.